13 years total,
Yeah.
electrical.
Yeah.
And at their junior year, I was able to get their students that were qualified, I could get them to work after 12 o'clock. They could go to work for wireless.
Mm-hmm.
Earn apprenticeship scale, get into the apprenticeship program. They had their career set right there. But they don't want to do that now.
We're going to make it easier for them. Make it easy for as a career choice and option. Mr. Claude, what do you got?
In Toledo, Ohio, I was the chair of the personnel committee with the Northwestern Ohio Urban League, and we did something like that. Only ours was for people that were being incarcerated and they were getting ready to get released.
Right.
And we put them into an apprenticeship. It's actually an apprenticeship training to become an apprentice. Okay, and we taught them those fundamental skills in which they would now be able to pass the Ohio apprenticeship exam, and then be able to go into a trade, electricians, plumbers, carpenters.
Yeah.
We had, I think, first year we had like 15, second year we had like 11, the next year we had like about 18. I mean, so every year it kept getting better and better and better, and you just would be totally amazed. Here are people that had absolutely no future whatsoever, are now tax-paying, income-producing people. You know?
And not stealing things from you
Not
or me.
stealing,
That's
not even worried about doing anything.
Right, that's exactly
Excellent
right.
program.
John, what do you got?
You don't have to be a total dummy to be a craftsman, because we always got the people that nobody else wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would always tell them we made silk out of sow's ears,
Yeah.
because we got people that, they weren't making good grades everywhere else, and they just
Yeah.
give up.
Right.
Well, when they got into our classes, they learned math, algebra,
Yeah.
trigonometry,
Right.
geometry, but they learned how it was used.
Right.
Bingo.
That is
Bingo.
that is great. I always two stories. One is my brother. I'm one of 9. I have an older brother, a couple older brothers. One that didn't go to college, but is a carpenter, and I'm just always amazed. What's amazing is I took calculus and all, but to cut with a miter saw,
Yes.
to cut wood trim, and you have to measure it upside down and cut it. And he does this on his head.
Right.
It's just amazing. Also, I'm reminded of the story of a doctor who called a plumber to fix a leaky pipe, and of course the plumber comes in and works for an hour and says that'll be $300, and the doctor says that's crazy. I only charge $100 an hour. You're charging $2, and the plumber says, well, yeah, when I was a doctor, I was only charging $100, so I became a plumber and charged $200. That was it. The other thing I talked about was another priority. Another number one priority is bigger than just our little tiny county of Duval County. I said, if you let me, we'll go out and put together a coalition where we can stick together all of Northeast Florida to work together. To me, and it probably to you too, does it make any sense? Who's Val? Which one's Val? Val, does it make, I'm putting you on the spot too. Val, does it make any sense just to clean the Duval portion of the St. Johns River? That was our mentality. Okay, we'll just clean our portion of the river, but that doesn't work, huh? It's getting dirty. I don't understand. So we said, we'll go out and create, yeah, exactly. We'll go out and create, we called it the First Coast delegation. The First Coast was a marketing plan of 5 counties, Duval, Nassau, Clay, St. John's counties, to come together. And we said, we'll start with them. We'll go out and get all the reps and senators from those counties. We'll come together, have a meeting, and then we'll coordinate. We think we would do this, but we never have. We'll coordinate our legislation, we'll communicate, we'll work together. So we went out and got those counties. Something crazy happened at our very first meeting. Of course, all those counties says, we're 100% with you. But when we were there at our first meeting, we had 4 other counties come up to us and say, hey, wait a minute. We read the Times-Union every day. We watch Mary Bear at 10 o'clock. We feel like Jacksonville. We want to be a part of this too. So we added Columbia County, Bradford, Flagler, and Putnam. Yeah, Putnam got in too. So that was great. So that's we've already had some successes with building an outer beltway transportation commission that went through all of our counties. That was great. We didn't get the Jaguars improvement bill, which is also one of our priorities. that was going to build a big jumbotron at the stadium. Now, my little joke, which was very inappropriate, I could have gotten in trouble for this joke. It's just, you shouldn't say things this irreverent or inappropriate. Do y'all want me to tell you now what I said?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, I will. I said, because what this is, and Joe loves this is for Joe. It's going to take the Jaguar Stadium and put the Super Jumbotron up there. You know, the big scoreboard, Super Jumbo. So instead of the regular screen, which would say Jaguars 3, Patriots 28, under the new Jumbotron, it'll say Jaguars 3, Patriots 28. You see how inappropriate that is? I'm a Jaguars fan, love them, so I can pick it. I had dinner with Shad Khan. I did not mention that joke. I just did it. So it's kind of fun. So we had some success and not success. The other success that we had was the ferry, saving the ferry. We needed immediate money to have the improvements for the ferry. But we also wanted to hold the state's feet to the fire. That is a state road. A1A is a state road. It crosses there, and the state's getting out of the business. Says we're not going to fool with it. That's not our responsibility. So we had an appropriation with language that said the state is going to pay $1 million and acknowledge that it's their responsibility for that road. We're getting good momentum, good success, and the governor and the Secretary of Transportation called me and Representative Atkins in and said, we want to propose a deal for you. If you will withdraw that language that they considered offensive, we will fund the improvements to the ferry out of our existing budget this year. We've got an additional, but you got to take that language out. We're not going to acknowledge any responsibility for the in the future to fix it, but we'll fix it right now. We'll get the money. So the question is, what do? You're in the legislature now. What do you do? Do you take the money or you force the language on them? What do you do?
Take the money.
Claude hit it on the head. You take the money, and that's what we did. We took the money, and guess what? We're already back in line. So next year we'll work on new language and work on the bulkhead. So it's very safe to ride the ferry. It's just not safe to hit the bulkheads yet. So no, I'm kidding. No, it's safe. It's just long term. It's very safe. Ride it if you can. But long term, over the next 10 years, we're going to need to fix the bulkheads. That's a $6 million price tag. We'll do that. So other things that came up last year. We did a stand your ground review. How about that? Even before all this stuff, we had a committee that reviewed stand your ground and said, you know what? The bill is new. The law is new. It really doesn't need any overhaul. That's significant because now there were a group that said, we want you to review stand your ground. And the legislature chose to stand its ground on stand your ground.
Amen.
That's good. The other thing that happened was the scandal that literally led to the resignation of our lieutenant governor. That was a big deal. That was a big deal, and really session stopped for a week because everybody just couldn't believe all the things that unfolded. You did too. You read the papers here too, and you understand it was just a kind of a shocking experience of all that too. So we did a bill that said, look, existing law, we've already chose that we're not going to expand gambling, and so we drew the line and said we're not going to expand gambling. Next year, there's a variety of bills that I'm sure will introduce a handful of adult arcade machines. Adult arcade looks like it's X-rated, but adult arcade is just it's not X-rated. It's just a different way of saying. Yeah, there's some charities that it helps. There's good things it does, but do we want it? I mean, that's a question. You know, we don't want video poker. Maybe if there's something that I don't know, but there's so many people that have come to me and said, hey. We were, we're using those machines and doing this for charity or doing that for charity, but I said, but you were breaking the law. I mean, it's like we were running a brothel and we were giving it to charity, but that's against the law. I mean, it feels good giving it to charity, but so we have to sort that out, and that will be sorted out as we go forward. Mike, what do you got?
Well, that's kind of what got Jennifer Carroll involved also. She was big on veterans. And they were using some of that money to fund the veteran centers.
You feel good. We just got to, I mean, again, we've voted several times, Raymond several times. As a state, we don't want to expand gambling, and trust me, they are there all the time. They're big gambling. They would like nothing more, to do more slot machines, expand. They'll say, oh, it's just one county. but we know better. We know the language right there. So that's something that will come up next year's review. There'll be a push to do that. Next year, the expansion of Obamacare and the implementation, that'll be a choice for us. We rejected it this past year. This year we said, you know what, we're going to sit on the sidelines and wait. But guess what?